Hi, Michael Guest here. Well, today it's all about mini jigs. Fishing the edge, we get up to all sorts of different things, but today we're going to chase a few kings, sambos and amberjacks on some little jigs. Important to use your electronics, your sounder, GPS, find the fish, stay on them, get one of these little fellas down, make it look like a fleeting bait fish and you should get hooked up. Oh yes! Straight away. Well, it doesn't get much better than that. A little bit of light tackle sport fishing now and I'm on. Oh, I've hooked something anyway. I'd say it's a little kingfish or an amberjack or one of those. Oh, there we go, we'll get a bit of colour and it is, I think it's a little kingfish. Can't quite see, or is it an amberjack? Ah, it's a little amberjack, beautiful little amberjack. So we'll just try and grab hold of him if we can. Get hold of that jig. And there he is. Oh, so it's not always about catching great big fish. It's all about really maximising the fun you can have with the tackle you've got. So there's that little jig. He's looked like a little fleeting bait fish and it's produced a beautiful little amberjack. And the colours in that, magnificent little fish, and they are such a hard fighting fish. Similar to a kingfish. And of course they go much, much bigger than that. But on that light tackle, great fun, and I'm sure if I drop a few more down, I can see them on the sounder there behind me. There'll be some bigger ones as well. Now, I've marked some great fish on the sounder here. I'm thinking they'll be kingfish and amberjacks and so on, just on a little bit of reef. Plotted the point in with the GPS, just hit that waypoint button twice, marked where they are. I can look at my drift angle when I drift back away, but some great showings of fish there. Pretty simple now. Drop that little jig down, crank him to the bottom. You can either jig him up and down or just wind it flat out, and it shouldn't take much to get hooked up, fingers crossed. There's no doubt this is great fun. Great way to hone your angling skills as well. And look, when you get a bite like this, it's almost a bite per drop. So it's a great way to get the kids started, although you want to make sure they've had their wheat bix so they've got a few muscles before they go tackling some of these fellas. And this is not a big fish by any means, but I think it's a little bit bigger than the last few I've caught. But just working that tackle, it's maximum. And every rod's designed to take a certain amount of drag, and I've screwed that drag up fairly tight there. And if you watch your gear, you really learn just how hard you can pull, and that's the difference between breaking a rod, losing a fish. You learn to dip your rod and let that fish, when it loads up, don't pull back at it, let it take that line. And obviously it's important to have smooth drag systems as well. Here we go. I've got a bit of colour there, looks like an amberjack, I think. Or a kingfish, can't quite tell. It's a nice amberjack. That's a better amberjack, that one. If we can't just get over that jig. There we go. Now that's a better amberjack. Beautiful fish. Once again, he's nailed that jig in the corner. And it's a great form of fishing because there's you and the fish and there's the reef. And you've got to try and keep you and the fish away from the reef all at one time. And there's about, I don't know, it's probably only 3 kilos of amberjack, but every kilo of these fish is such a great fight. And magnificent fish. And on that tackle, as I said, it doesn't get a lot better. We're between tide changes. We're going to have a nice fish this afternoon, and we're filling our time in with some great fun on the mini jigs. So this is a Berkeley drop shot, what we call our 8 to 10 kilo jerk and jig stick. And we've got a Sauron reel here, one of the Abu Saurons. This is a size 60. Great reel, 11 ball bearings, and some code red braid, 14-pound code red. So pretty well identical to a heavy snapper outfit that you might use for chasing snapper either on soft plastics or bait. and it's just doing an admirable job here at the moment, just working these little jigs. As I said, you can't work big heavy jigs on a rod like this. If you're going to do that, you need to go to specialist jigging tackle or a heavier rod. But to work these little jigs, as you can see there now, no problems at all. Nothing fancy there, bit of 60-pound fluorocarbon leader, blood knot onto my jig, double uni knot, back onto a double, into 14-pound code red PE line, away you go. Oh yeah, oh, I've pulled out there, keep going, and I'm back on again. Oh, yeah, oh yes. What great fun. Oh, seeing some great country here, idling around with that 300 E-Tech. You can probably just hear that in the background. We're only using 0.7 of a litre per hour, which is just amazing fuel economy. So even though we're not anchored up, it's certainly not an expensive form of fishing this. It's just a matter of believing in your electronics and getting down there and having some fun. And I'm going to get into this. This one's giving me a bit of curry. A lot of you heard about high sticking a rod. Well, what's high sticking a rod? Well, it's really taking it past the point of no return. If I lift that rod right up really high and that fish lunges down, you're going to break the rod. It's as simple as that. So if you work in a plane, just up like that, that fish loads, you just lower the rod tip down a little bit as that fish loads up, and you can do amazing things with these super lightweight graphite rods. But if that fish wants to run, let it run. So many people get out here and fishing and they want to jam their hand on the spool. But that's the fishing part. It's not just catching, it's fishing, and you've got to enjoy the angling sensation. And you'll catch more big fish more often by taking your time than you ever will by rushing it. I can see some colour here. Just wondering what I've actually got here. He's slowed up. It's quite a nice fish. And I think it might be another Amberjack, slightly better one again. Yeah, there we go. So talking about losing fish, a lot of fish are lost at the boat now, so that's a nice Amberjack. Oh, and that's why he's gone so hard, he's actually hooked in the side. So they must be pretty thick. I pulled out of one, I've had a bite, and then I've ripped the jig up the side of this one, so they're obviously pretty thick down there at the moment. Let's take a little wrap like that, and then safe thing to do is grab the jig. I've got the jig, I've taken a wrap, I'll just do a quick comfort lift, and straight away fish is upside down. Oh. And I've got that fish under control. Get that hook out, get that hook away from yourself. If you're going to get hurt, then that's how it's going to happen, by the hook. Amberjacks, kingfish, Samson fish don't have teeth. It's safe to stick your hand in there and support that fish. Quick photo and let him go, or if you want to eat one of these fellas, then you can always do that, bleed the fish and get it on ice quickly, but I think we'll let this fella go. Whew, all right. Oh, you good thing. Whew. Oh, time for some push-ups. I don't need to do that. That's been pretty tough work. You've been watching Fishing the Edge. It's Guesty here as usual. Got Captain behind the camera. We've been talking mini jigs, and as I always say, there's one last cast. There's always time for one last cast. Well, in this case, there's time for one last drop. I'll see you next time.